Blind, Blind Frisk by Amanda Almanza. It was a sunny day, not too cold, but still very warm. There was a slight breeze in the distance. The child, Frisk, had been walking up a mountain, hoping it was the right one. The child earlier had decided that she wanted to end her life, wanted to climb Mount Ebot. She had heard legends about it, that whoever climbed it would never return. Frisk had a stick in her hand, tapping around the road, or what was left of the road, that was covered in leaves, rocks, sticks, and everything that she could possibly trip and fall. Suddenly, before she knew it, all she had hoped would not happen, she tripped. Hoping she would land on solid ground, she was wrong. She started to fall, thinking that maybe this was the end. Before she knew it, she had woken up, looked around and touched around. She felt flowers. Got up again and started to walk. She hit a wall, touched it, and felt it was made of rock and dirt. She looked around the floor. With the flowers, it was difficult, but she finally found her stick. Slowly, she poked her stick around and found a hollow space, walked towards it, and found it was a path. Slowly, she walked through it, hoping she would not bump into anything that could harm her. She was scared, but deep in her heart, she wondered why she was scared. She wanted to die, so why was she scared? Was she scared of death? Or was it something else? Before she knew it, she heard a voice. She looked around, tried to find out where the voice was coming from. Then, she finally found out where it was. By the voice's sound, it sounded confused. It repeated what it had said earlier. Howdy! My name is Flowey. Flowey the Flower. Golly, you must be new to the underground, aren't you? Well, I guess little old me will have to teach you how things work around here. Do you see that red heart? That is your soul, the combination of your being. And to get right now, you're weak, but you can gain stronger by gaining love. What is love? Well, it means what it is. Down here in the underground, love is given to others by friendliness pellets. Before she knew it, she heard a couple of things float around her, not knowing where. It was coming from everywhere. Looking around, she didn't know where they were coming from, but she thought maybe he got them from the floor or something. Try to get as many as you can. She just stood there, looking around, confused. Dung. All the friendless petals hit her. She screamed. The pain was everywhere. Her arms, her legs, her body. It felt horrible. But even though it was painful, it wasn't enough to make her scream loud enough for somebody to hear her. At least she hoped there was somebody else, nicer, kinder. Before she knew it, she was on the floor and had dropped her stick, started looking for it. Then she heard the voice again. Oh, you caught them all! Good job! But in this world, is kill or be killed. Bye! She heard another of the friendliest petals, or that she thought. She couldn't find her stick and covered her face, waiting for it to end. But before she knew it, she heard flames, and she heard the flowers scream. Ah! She heard a rustle, got scared and closed her eyes. She looked up again and hoped she found something. She knew there was something in front of her, but she couldn't see. It. Ah, what a terrible creature, torturing such poor innocent youth. Hello there, my child. My name is Toriel. I am the caretaker of these ruins. At first, Frisk was puzzled, trying to figure out what was going on. But before she knew it, something had grabbed her hand. It was soft, and it was warm, almost like her hand was wrapped in a blanket. She got up and she was healed. She felt better, but the places where she had gotten, she tapped them. They were still scars, but they didn't hurt. Before she left, she let go of the person known as Toriel. She started to look for a stick. Once she found the stick, she tried to find Toriel's hand again. Toriel grabbed it and took her again. In the ruins, there are many puzzles. You will have to figure them out. This one is already solved, but this is how you do it. She first heard 5 clicks, and then she said, "Follow me." Frisk used her stick and started to tap around, trying to find the hollow place. Once she found it, she started to go. And this room is simple. Just walk ahead. There are some switches on the sides. I have marked which ones you need to flip. Toriel started to walk towards the end of the room. Frisk started to walk again, then feeling the spaces. She felt as if it was wood. Then again, she walked into something. She wasn't sure what it was, but it must have been something hard. It wasn't clay, not exactly, but it was a combination between clay and bricks. Then she found us. Then there were spaces in between. She went in between the spaces and found a switch. She clicked it. She heard a click and thought she was done. But before she knew it, Toriel has said, "Congratulations, my child. Find the second switch. I have marked which one to press, so it shouldn't be hard." She started to walk. Frisk felt 2 switches in the next hall, in the next spaced area. She pressed the one on the left first. Toriel was happy and said congratulations. She wondered what would happen if she pressed the right switch, but she was scared, so she just started to walk with Toriel, following the sound of her voice for instructions, but always tapping the floor just in case. Next, they came to another room, or as she thought, or as she had hoped, because of Toriel's voice. "In this room, I will go to the other side, my child. I will leave you here. Please forgive me, but I want you to go to the other side. Forgive me, my child." She heard Toriel's steps go farther until she could not hear them anymore. Frisk slowly grabbed her stick and tapped it around her and in front of her. She made it to the other side and heard Toriel's voice again. "Congratulations, my child. I hope you forgive me, but I wanted to make sure that you were responsible enough and and trustworthy enough to follow my instructions and go through the room. There were no traps in this room. I wanted to see if you would follow the instructions or you would just wait. Many human children who have fallen before have done that. That's why I am here to test it. Now follow me. You go in front of her again. You start to walk, but then Toriel stops you. Whoa, my child! Don't walk onto them. You will get severely hurt. Not knowing what they were, she assumed there was a hole of some kind that she could have fallen down or something sharp. This puzzle is way too hard for you, my child. Hold on to my hand and I will lead you through it. Once again, Toriel saw her hand. It was still soft and warm. She wondered what animal she was. Cause if she was a monster, she wondered what monster she was. Maybe a bear? The first thing that came to her head was maybe a goat, because it was soft like a goat's fur, or maybe a sheep. But it wouldn't have made sense either way, because she couldn't see if the fur was a different color or not. She might have been a dog, or maybe... But before she could finish her thought, Toriel's voice spoke again. My child, I want you to stay here, in this room. You can stay in here until I come back and get you. Here's a phone. She passes something onto Frisk's hand. She puts her stick on the ground and starts to touch the phone, making sure to feel. Thank goodness the phone had the buttons crossed so she could feel it. She put it in one of her pockets and picked up the stick again. If I'm not able to pick you up, I would like you to come and get me. And I might ask a couple of questions through the phone, and I will check up on you. So please do not leave this area. Before she knew it, Toriel had left, and she just heard her humming, or as she thought was her humming. Before she knew it, she heard something behind her head, looked around, and couldn't see anything, but she heard a voice. Hi there, my name is Kara, or the first fallen human, as you would like to call me. You could sort of say I'm part of you. Frisk was confused and puzzled. Why hadn't she never heard of her or seen her? She tried to remember all the times she was able to see, and tried to remember if she ever saw her. Not once had she ever seen her. If you don't know, once you fell in the underground, you brought me back to life, and now I am attached to you. But I will help you as much as I can, but I can only talk a certain amount, because I'm still a spirit, but attached to your soul. I'm sorry if I'm unable to help in fights that you might encounter with monsters. At the word monster, Frisk freaked out and went backwards, falling onto her backside. Whoa there, Kara said. Be careful. Some monsters are very kind, like Toriel. And if you don't know what monster she is, she's a goat. Frisk kind of had an idea that she might have been, but wasn't sure. Now then, we will have to get out of this room. Frisk looked puzzled at the spirit, ghost, carrot thing, and it started to say, Toya won't come back for a long time, so why not explore and try to get out of here? I will tell you if there's any traps or anything that should harm you. But anything that you can touch or I guess use with your stick, that might work. But we will start going. Let's leave. To be continued in the next episode of Blind Frisk.